pagbati na may ngiti sa aking mga labi. Naghahanap ba kayo ng makakatuwang sa pagre-review ng inyong anak? Meron yan sa DepEd. Ang ETUlay online tutorial ay libre at handog ng ating kagawaran sa pangunguna ng OUA ICTS EdTech. Ito ay isang proyektong makatutulong sa mga mag-aaral, katuwang ang mga magulang o kasama sa kani-kanilang tahanan para masagutan at maunawaan ang mga modules. Hangad din ng programang ETUlay ang matulungan ang ating mga guro sa kanilang mga blended learning classes. Ang ating ETUlay ay mula kinder hanggang senior high school. Bukod sa academics, meron din tayong mga special programs gaya ng All is Wellness, Reading and Math Remediation, Storytelling, Mommy Tech Talks, Classes sa Gramatika, Speech Class, Financial Literacy, at marami pang iba. Pinalawig din ng ETUlay ang ating Alive program para sa mga mag-aaral mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Gayon din ay mayroon tayong ALS program at SPED tutorials na makasisigurong makakamit ng lahat ang inclusive education. May SPED hotline na rin para sa inyong mga katanungan patungkol sa special education. Kaya, subaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula 9:00 ng umaga hanggang 7:00 ng gabi ang ating ETUlay. Sa ating pagtutulungan, maiaangat natin ang bawat isa. Ating itutulay ang pagkatuto upang di mapigil ang pag-aaral ng kabataang Pilipino. Itulay natin ito, sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat. Ako ang inyong lingkod, Tutor Madge. Welcome sa ating ETUlay, ang ating libreng online tutorial na hatid ng ating kagawaran ng edukasyon, ICTS EdTech. Ang programang ito ay inaasahang makatutulong at maging karagdagang kaalaman sa mga mag-aaral mula kinder hanggang senior high school, ALS, Alive, at SPED learners. Bukod sa pagsagot ng mga modules, ang ETUlay ay may mga special programs din na siguradong aabangan ninyo araw-araw. Katuwang ang ating mga minamahal na mga magulang at guro ay maitutulay natin ang pagkatuto. Kaya, ihanda na ang inyong module, lapis, papel o kwaderno. Ihanda rin ang isip, mata at tenga sa isa na namang makabuluhang aralin. Tayo nang matuto kasama ang inyong volunteer online tutor sa oras na ito.
Okay, good morning po. Good morning mga ka-tech quiz. Ito na naman po ang inyong tutor bell para sa isang Friday. Talakayan ng isang topic para sa Java programming. It's Friday again. At syempre, dahil 11 a.m. na, no? Isa na namang Java programming na lesson ang ating tatalakayan para sa araw na ito. Okay, kumusta po kayong lahat? Okay? Sana po ay okay lang po kayo. Okay, so 11 to 12 po, lagi po tayong magkita-kita, no? Friday, Friday, 'di ba? Sabi nga po ni Rebecca Bex, it's Friday again. Kaya for today, for quarter 1, week 5, almost half na po tayo ng isang quarter, no? Ang topic po natin ay Java operators. Okay? So, for today, ano po ba yung dapat nating matutunan? Okay? So, we will be able to differentiate the different types of Java operators. No? And then, we will try to create a sample Java program with Java operators. Siyempre, applying the different mathematical operations. Ano po ba yung mga mathematical operations na yan? Siyempre, nandyan yung addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Okay po? So, paano ba gumawa ng program with mathematical operations? Okay? So, if you will notice po, meron sa screen ninyo yung plus, the symbols, no? The symbols of 4 mathematical operations. So, paano ba mag-program with these mathematical operations? Okay? So, we will be doing that for today, no? So, paano ba mag-add, no? Paano ba mag-add? So, like for this one, no? 1 plus 2 cats is equivalent to 3 cats. Okay? 3 is this a mouse? 3 mouse. Okay? Plus 2, it's 5. 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. No? 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. No? So how are we going to make a program, a Java program out of this? Paano nga ba? No? So this is addition and subtraction. What about paano na yung pagmumultiply? No? So paano tayo makakagawa ng isang Java program wherein makakapag-multiply tayo? For example, 1 times 2, 7 times 3, 4 times 1. No? So with just a simple program, we will able let the Java program do the operation, do the nitty-gritty of doing the mathematical operations. Okay, so that is why for this quarter 1, week 5, we will be discussing Java operators. No? So ano nga ba yung mga operators na yan? Okay, tingnan natin yung mga comments, mga nanonood sa atin. Okay, so shout out lang po tayo sa mga taga-Pagalanggang National High School. Musta kayo lahat dyan? Yung aking advisory na CSS 12. No? Tutok lang kayo. And then sa mga CSS 11 at sa lahat ng aking mga co-teachers, no, the TVL group and the academic group. Okay, so sabing ganyan, operators, when you say operator, these are actually just a symbol, no? So these are actually symbols to perform operations on variables and values. So remember last week, we have discussed how to use variables, di ba? How to use these variables. So paano tayo mag-a-assign ng isang variable, paano tayo magde-define ng variable. Okay, so with this variable, which is a storage, pwede na tayong gumawa ngayon ng isang mathematical operation through the help of these operators, no? So we have different types of operators, no? So these operators include the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, division, and the percent, which is a modulo. Okay, when you say modulo, no, mga ka-tech quiz, it's the remainder. So how do we get the remainder? We will be using the percent. So kung sa addition, ang ginagamit nating symbol ay plus, okay, sa subtraction ay minus, sa multiplication is asterisk, sa division ay slash. Okay? So 'di ba sa pag nag-division tayo, meron tayong colon sa magkabilang taas and then dash. Pero sa programming, no, we will be using slash for the division. Okay? And to get the remainder, we will be using percent. Okay? So ang tawag natin dyan, modulo. Okay po? Okay, so we have different types of Java operators. Okay. First is the so-called arithmetic operators. No? So ano ba yung mga arithmetic operators na yan? Okay, so iyan yung 4 fundamental operations, which is the plus, the minus, the multiplication. So, ang symbol po niyan sa pagpo-program ay asterisk. So, remember that. Okay. For division, we will be using slash. Okay. And then to get the remainder, we will be using percent. Okay. So, paano yan? Example. Okay. So, kung gusto nating i-add si x, ang value ng x, for example, si x ay isang variable, okay, si y ay isang variable, we want to add the content of this variable x, and we want to get the sum, no? We want to get the sum of the value of the variable x and y. So we will add x and y using the operator plus sign, which is an arithmetic operator, by this, x plus y. Okay? When we do subtraction, okay, we will be using the minus sign. Okay, so example, how do we subtract y from x? Okay, so we will subtract x to y. Okay, so we will be using minus sign. So kung ano yung laman ni x, ima-minus natin sa laman ng variable nating y. Okay, so pag multiplication, we will be using asterisk. Okay po? We will be using asterisk. So, paano tayo mag-multiply sa Java programming? We will be using asterisk. So, we can multiply two numbers or more than two numbers by using the operator asterisk. X, asterisk, y. Okay? X and y may differ po, no? So, pwedeng maiba yan. Depende po sa inyo. Okay? So, pinakita ko lang po that this one are all actually variables. Okay? Ma'am, Tutor Bell, pwede po bang maging number? Of course, pwede po. Pwedeng direct. Okay? So for example, ang ating first number is 5. Okay? Ang ating second number is another 5. Okay? We want to multiply the two numbers. Okay? So we will multiply it by 5 asterisk 5. So, which is an equivalent of 25. Okay po? So, parehas lang po yun. But on programming, we will be using, as always, we will be using variable po. Okay? So, sa division, so we will be using slash. Okay? So, tandaan po natin yan, slash. So, we will divide x by y by x slash y. Okay? So, but if we want to get just the remainder, okay, mapa kung anong remainder pa yan. So, for example, 25 divide by 3. Okay? So, is there a remainder? 25% 3. So, we will now get the remainder. So, alam naman natin na ang remainder is 1. Di po ba? Dahil 25 divided by 3 is 8, a remainder of 1. Okay? So, ang answer po doon is 1. Okay. So, sampulan po natin. Okay, so let us see. Okay, so mamaya na natin itong isa na to. Okay, let me share yung aking IntelliJ. Move ko lang. Ayan. Okay, nakikita po ba yung aking screen? Okay, so pinalakihan ko na po siya para mas makita nyo po. Okay, so this is my sample Java program for today. Okay, so let's isa-isahin po natin. So this is import java.util.scanner. So ibig sabihin, gumamit po ako ng hindi user-defined package but a built-in class package. Okay, so nag-import ako ng java.util.scanner. So para saan po ba yung mga java.util.scanner? Okay, ginagamit po natin yung mga packages na yan when we want to use yung mga pag-input ng user. So we let the user input, yung mag-input sila ng numbers or kahit ano pa pong gusto niyong ipa-input. Okay? So, the name of my class is Java Operator. Okay? So, gumawa po ako ng isang variable na let. Ito po yung maglalaman kung ano man yung i-input ng user sa system. Okay? Okay po? Gets po ba? So, and then I have two variables. Ang data type po niya ay integer. The name of the variable is integer x and y. Okay, so define ko. So that's how you define a variable. Okay. And then I have another variable called ans. Okay. So dahil statement, in-end po natin sa semicolon. Okay. So, para makita ni user, no, yung interface na pinapa-enter natin siya ng, okay, so we will be using two numbers, okay? So, we will ask the user to input two numbers, okay? Kaya, para makita sa screen yung ating message, we will be using the method out, okay? System.out.print enter a first number. Okay? So, yung in-enter na first number, ilalagay natin, itatago natin sa isang variable na ang pangalan ay x na dinefine natin as integer. So, ibig sabihin, the user should enter an integer. Okay po? Okay, so for the second number, okay, so input natin si user ng another number, okay, inilagay naman natin sa variable na y. Okay? And then, meron tayong panibagong variable dito, which is ans. Ang pangalan ng ating variable is ans. So, yung laman ng variable na x ay ipa-plus natin kay y. Okay? So, remember that. Yung in-input na unang first number ilalagay sa x na variable, yung pangalawang number na input na second number ilalagay sa variable na y, ipa-plus natin yung x and y at ilalagay natin sa variable na ans. Okay, para saan? Okay, para gumamit ng mathematical operation which is addition. Okay? So, kukunin natin yung sum ng x and y. Paano natin magagawa yon? Because of this. Okay? So, yung pagkukunin natin yung laman ng variable, no, ilalagay natin siya sa isang string, ganito po ang ginagawa natin. Okay? So, sinasama natin siya sa ating print. Okay? So, the sum of x plus y is, okay, gagamitin natin itong plus sign kasi we are combining. Okay? Combining a variable to a string, okay? Plus ans. So, whatever the value ng na-input the first number and the second number ay i-display niya po, ang message na makikita nyo sa screen is the sum of x plus y is whatever. Okay? So, let us try. So, compile po natin siya. I-run po natin. Tataas ko lang ng konti para makita nyo. Run natin. Ayan na, nag-build na. Tiita natin ng konti para mas makita nyo. Okay, so dito po natin siya sineset, no? So if you want to set, ay pinalaki ko lang para mas makita nyo. Itan ko muna po, no? general. Ito natin. Ayan. Okay, so sana siya. Nag-build na po siya. So, ito po. Settings ulit. Close muna natin. So, general. Appearance. No? Yung ating appearance. Yung ating, liitan natin muna ng konti. Yung ating 16. Okay. Ayan. Okay. So, good morning po. Good morning, Kurt. Good morning, Taling, Renalyn Kuzan. Okay, so ito na po yung ating output. Taas natin ng konti. Ayun, no? So, enter. Nakikita niyo po ba? Okay, so enter first number. So, we will enter ano pong gusto niyong number. Okay, so for example is 10. Okay, my first number, ilalagay niya yun sa variable na x. Okay, and then enter a second number. Okay, so nag-enter ako ng 8 for my second number. Okay, so if you will notice, ito na po yung output niya. Okay, so the sum of x plus y is 18. Ito po yan. No? The sum of x plus y is ans. Okay? So, yung ans, okay, so palitan naman natin ngayon. Okay? So, gawin naman natin siyang subtraction. Okay? Pinalitan ko na po siya. Okay? I-run po natin ulit. So, let us run it again. Ayan. Ayan. Kita na? Okay. Run natin. So, yan. So, dapat makikita natin yung enter a first number. Ayan. Okay? So, pinalitan ko na yung operator, ha? From plus, ginawa ko na po siyang minus. Okay? So, ito na. Enter a first number. So, for example, 100. Okay? So, that's my first number na nilagay natin sa variable na x. Okay? So, 100, let me enter. My second number na ilalagay natin sa variable na y. Okay? So, for example, ang i-enter kong second number is 50. Okay? So, ilalagay yon sa variable na y. And then, eto na po, ilalagay niya na siya, tatawagin niya na yung system.out. Okay? Ulit. 100. Okay? 50. Okay? The sum, ayun. Huh? Close natin to. No? So, the sum of x plus y is yung ating ans. Okay? So, run natin ulit. Stop and rerun muna natin. Okay? So, dapat enter a first number, 100. Enter a second number, 50. Okay? the sum of x and y is 50. Mali kasi tayo. Dapat x minus y, di ba? Palitan natin. Okay? Kaya the sum of x and y. Dapat dito, palitan natin to ng the difference. Di po ba? Okay, so the difference. Okay? Difference of x minus y is yung variable na nasa ands. Okay? So, run po natin ulit para hindi nakakalito. Okay, so plus, minus. Okay, so try natin later yung multiplication. Okay. Okay, nag-finish na siya. Run natin. Ayan. Lapit na. Ayan. So, enter a first number. So, dapat, the difference of x and minus y is ands. No? So, yung laman ng value ng ands. Okay? Ayan na. Okay? So, nag-compile. Okay, so enter a first number. Okay, so for example is 50. That's my first number. Okay, so nilagay yon sa variable na ang pangalan ay x. Okay, 50. Second number is 20. Okay, so 50 minus 20. So ang dapat na output niyan is the difference of x minus y is 30. Okay? So ito po siya. Oh. The difference of x minus y is 30. Okay, so let us try naman po the multiplication or the product. Okay, so enter my first number, second number. So papalitan natin yung operator. Okay, so papalitan po natin yung operator ng instead of plus, so gagawin natin po ito na asterisk. Okay? So kasi pag asterisk, it's multiplication. Okay? So asterisk, palitan po natin yung the product. Good morning po, ma'am. Luman Elementary School from Davao City. The product. The product of x and y. So, dapat ganyan siya. Okay, so run it again. Stop and rerun natin. Okay, shout out po tayo sa aking mga ka-tutor sa Bataan, Tutor Pal, Tutor Dry, Tutor Marlon. Habang hinihintay ko. Ayan na. Okay, so nag-build na successfully. Pag nakita niyo po kasi yung build completed successfully. Okay, so I should be able to see yung enter a first number. Okay, so enter a first number. What we're doing now is multiplication. Okay, so 10. Okay, so my first number is 10. My second number is 10. Okay, so 10 multiplied by 10. Okay, so ginamit natin dito ay asterisk. So ilalagay sa variable na ands. Okay? And then, i-display ang the product of x and y is, ano kaya? The product of x and y is 100. Okay? So, that's the beauty of doing a program. No? So, okay? So, ito po, machine na ang mag-multiply para sa'yo. Okay? So, let's do now the division. Okay? So, papalitan natin yung operator from asterisk na multiplication, gagawin natin slash for division. Okay? So, remember, the operator to divide two numbers is slash. Okay? So, the quotient, tawag sa, okay, so the quotient. So this is actually basic literacy from grade 1 to 4. Okay? So the quotient of x and y, ikukunin niya sa variable na x and y. Okay, yung first number is nakalagay sa variable na x. Ang second number ay nakalagay sa variable na y. Okay, ang i-display niya ay, okay, so, and then he will do this mathematical operation. X divide by y. Okay? Ilalagay sa variable na ans, and then magde-display na output na the quotient of x and y is ans. Okay, so let's run it. Ayan. Okay? So, build completed successfully. So, sinasabi niya pa kung ilang seconds. Okay, so, let us wait for the enter first number. Kasi yun ating first display, di po ba? Ayan na. Okay? So, once na nakita nyo na siya, ganyan. Ibig sabihin, payarin na yung pagkakompile niya. Ayan. Okay, so, enter first number. So, I want 1,000. 1,000 divide by the second number na 100. Okay, so 1,000 ilalagay sa variable na x. Ito yan, no? Ito siya. Okay. Yung 100 ilalagay sa variable na y. Okay. And then he will do the mathematical operation. Ilalagay sa variable na ans. So if I press the enter key, ilalagay na yan 100 na to, no? Once I press the enter key, ilalagay na siya sa y. Okay? And then, gagawin niya na tong next statement, which is the system.out.print the quotient of x and y is 10. Okay? So, 1,000 divide by 100 is 10. Tama, di po ba? Okay, next, modulo, which is how to get the remainder. Okay? So, remainder. Okay, so papalitan natin tong ating mathematical operator na slash 2%. Okay? So, remember, to get the remainder, no? Ang tawag dito sa operator na to is modulo. Okay? Papalitan natin yan ng from slash to percent. Ilalagay natin sa ans. Okay, so we will store the value of the first number, entered first number sa x, and then we will store the second number to the variable y, okay? And then he will do this mathematical operation, okay? Instead of divide, i-divide niya actually, pero he will just get the remainder, okay? So sa modulo, ang kukunin niya lang is remainder. So kung 0 yan, ilalagay niya pa rin yan. So kung 1 yan or whatever output it is, ilalagay niya pa rin sa variable na ans. Okay? And then, jump na siya dito sa ating next statement. Okay? So, remember this one. Okay? This is just a comment, no? Okay? Comment po yan. This is a line comment. So, ibig sabihin, this will just be ignored by the compiler, no? So, hindi po niya yan, i-ignore lang po ng compiler yan. Okay, so, dapat ang output ay the quotient of x and y is ans. Okay, so, the remainder tayo dapat dito. Okay, kasi hindi na siya quotient, diba? So, the remainder, ayan, the remainder of x and y is ans. Okay? Okay, run natin. Let's run it again. Okay. What if Tutor Bell, yung aking dinedivide or yung aking quotient, ang output niya is with decimal. Okay? So instead of integer here, no? Instead of integer, yung ans mo, gawin mong float or double. No? Okay? So para maging may decimal. Okay? Ayan na. Okay, so nag-completed na. Ayan na siya. So mag-enter first number na po siya. Okay, so enter first number. So remember, ang ating Java program is actually computing for the modulo, the remainder. He will get the first number, the second number. He will do the mathematical operation, which is to get the remainder. And then he will display the remainder of x and y is galing sa ans na variable. Okay, so let's enter the first number. Okay, so for example is 85. Okay, so divide by 2. Okay, so is there a modulo? Yes, there is. Okay, because the remainder of x and y is 1. Tama naman po, di ba? Okay, so that's how you get the remainder of dividing two numbers. Okay po? Question? Question po ba? Okay. Any more questions? Okay, so, balik po tayo dito sa ating PowerPoint presentation. Muna. Okay. So, aside from the mathematical arithmetic operator, no? So, meron din tayong tinatawag na so, meron pa tayong ibang operators, no? So, kasama siya sa, this one is actually kasama siya sa arithmetic operators, but this one, ang ginagawa niya is, it will increment, okay? So, this one, plus, no? Pag inilagay mo siya sa isang variable, at nilagyan mo ng plus before the name of the variable, balik tayo. Okay? Okay? So, mag-i-increment lang siya ng 1. Okay? Ito na yan. Yan. Mag-i-increment lang siya ng 1. Okay? Pag binaligtad mo naman, okay, nauna yung variable and then plus, it will increment by 1, pero i-evaluate niya yung value after incrementing. Okay, this one before incrementing. Okay, so kung nasaan yung plus, doon siya. So before the value. Okay, this one, i-evaluate niya, i-increment siya after incrementing. Evaluates the value after incrementing kasi nasa after siya ng variable. Okay, the same with the minus. Okay, so, ibig sabihin ng minus, it will decrement. So, ibig sabihin ng decrement, magbabawas. Pag sinabing increment, magdadagdag. Okay po? So, magkaiba po yung dalawa na yan. Okay, so, pag nauna yung minus kesa sa name ng variable, it will decrement by 1 before decrementing. Okay? So, kapag naman nauna si variable bago yung operator na minus, it will decrement by 1. You will evaluate the value after decrementing. Okay, so let us try. Okay, balik tayo. Okay, so this is my screen. I want my ants lagyan natin siya ng plus. Okay. i-declare ko muna syempre yung aking variable, integer increment. Okay. Z na lang. Okay, so my variable is Z. Okay, so dahil statement, you have to end it with a semicolon. Okay, so ang gagawin ko, pagkatapos kong makuha yung any value, no? Any value of the ans, I want it na ilagay siya sa variable and then i-plus plus ans ko siya. Okay? Yan. So, semicolon. Okay, so what will happen in here? Okay, so meron akong variable na z. Okay, si z, yung laman niya ay kukunin niya by incrementing before, no? Incrementing before. Okay, so he will decrement the value after, no? Okay, so let's try. Okay, so increment to, no? The increment value. Okay, ano kaya? Okay, ang magiging sagot. Okay, Z. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, aside from the remainder, meron pa akong increment value. So, it will add up. No? So, tingnan natin, what will be the output? Okay, remember, modulo yung ginamit natin dito, no? Sa operation, modulo pa rin. Okay? Okay, so nag-build na siya. So, let's wait. Ayan, nagpa-parsing pa siya. Ayan na. Ayan na, nag-build na. Okay, so finishing the save caches. Okay, so build completed successfully. Ayan na. Okay, so once nakita nyo to, that's the indicator na. Okay, ulit. I have my first number, 100. Okay. 21. Okay, 21 ah. Okay. 100 divide by 21, he should get the modulo. Okay, so ano yung remainder? 17. Okay. So what happened? Where is my other display? Nag-plus plus ba siya? Hindi. Kasi, bakit siya hindi nag-plus? Asan yung aking z? Plus plus ans. Ayun, 17, no? 17 pa rin siya. Increment kasi, bakit? Wala akong backslash n. Okay, so let me first put a backslash n here. Okay, lagyan natin ng backslash n. Plus backslash n. Plus. Para doon siya on the next line. Ayun siya, 17 increment value of x and y is still 17. Kasi nga, inilagay mo siya before the value. Okay? Pero kung lalagyan mo siya ng number dito, okay, so for example, 2. 2 plus plus ans. No? Okay, so what will happen? Okay, wait. Ano natin lagyan? Okay, so run it. Kasi nakasama siya doon sa string. That is why. Okay? So, let's run it again. So, nilagyan ko doon ng 2. So, let's see kung mag-i-increment siya by 2. Kasi, hindi ko siya nilagyan ng value. That is why it's still the same. Plus plus lang ang nilagay ko. Okay? Okay. Asa na? Expected. Line 14. Okay, sige. Lagyan na natin. Yan. Ililipat ko dito to. Okay? So, ililipat ko siya after. Okay? So, yan. So, meron kasing difference, di ba? Kung doon siya sa before the name of the variable or after the variable. Okay? So, will it be the same? Tingnan natin. It's running. It's checking. It's parsing. Finished. Okay, so completed. Okay, so yan na. So, binaligtad ko na siya. Okay, so enter first number. I have 51, 25, dapat, I have 1 pa rin. Okay, 2, increment value. The remainder of x and y is 2. Tama ba? Increment value of x and y is 1. Okay? Bakit na siya naging 2? Kasi nga, bakit? Bakit naging 2? Kasi nga, tinawag ko to, no, system.out sa ANS bago pa pagkatapos nitong ANS++. Remember, isang plus plus mag-i-increment ng 1. Kung ang ginawa ko ay this one, in-enter ko muna to dito. Okay. Bago ko ilagay ito, okay, ito muna, ito na lang pala. Okay. Ilagay ko siya dito, no? Dito ko siya, okay, dito ko siya ilagay, no? So ito, this one, so ibig sabihin, kukunin niya muna, i-display niya muna yung remainder. Okay? And then, ANS++ ako. So, ibig sabihin, mag-i-increment ako ng isa. Okay? And then, doon pa lang ako mag-display ng increment value of x and y is z. Okay? So, dito. Okay, so, let's try. Okay, kasi nga, nagdoon na siya. 2 talaga siya dahil na-perform niya na to bago tayo nag-display. Okay? Then, it's building. Okay. So, yun yung beauty ng may nilalagay mo siya after the variable. So, it will increment 1. Okay, so enter first number. Ano yung nilagay natin kanina? Sige, sabihin natin 51. Okay? And then 25. So, 51, dahil ang mathematical operation natin ay division, di ba? And then he will get the remainder, ilalagay niya sa variable na ANS, the remainder of x and y is 1, increment value of x and y is 1. Di ba? Okay po? Get na po? Gets po ba? Okay. So, dito, no, balik tayo. Okay. So, yun yung gamit ng x and y, no? Ayan lang. Move ko lang po. Okay. So, nandito na tayo. Okay. Balik tayo dito. Okay. So, plus plus, minus minus, so increment and decrement. So that's the another operator. So it will decrement by 1, decrement by 1. Okay? Okay. Next. Next slide. So, next po ay, syempre, off ko lang muna yan. No? Okay. Ayan. Ayan, screen. Okay. So, yan. Okay. So, this is another type of operator. No? So, we have the arithmetic operator. We now have the relational operator. So, sa relational operator, it actually just compare two values and determine the relationship between them. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, kino-compare. Okay. So, there are two numbers that is being compared or two variables that is being compared. Okay, so in this case, alam naman po natin halos lahat yan dahil universal operator, but still, greater than sign. So, yung bunghanga niya is nakatapat doon sa kahit saan pa. No? So, it's greater than. So, this one is greater than or equal. Okay, this one is less than. This one is less than or equal to y. Okay? So, anong magiging output niyan? Okay? Ang magiging output po niyan is actually, okay? So, this is actually still relational operator, but this one, it will check if x and y are equal. Okay? And this one, it will check if the x and y or two variables are not equal. So, ang gagamitin nating operator dyan ay exclamation point, then equal. Okay. Dito, chine-check niya talaga kung talagang equal. Same number, same number. So, for example, the value of x is 5 and then another value is 5. So, is it equal? Yes, it is. No? So, magto-true po yan. Okay? So, ang output niyan is true. Okay? That's a relational operator. Okay, so this is another type of operator. It's called conditional operator. No? So, ang conditional operator are actually often used with the, ang relational operator per se is actually used with these conditional operators, no? So, laging magkasama yan. Okay? So, this one, okay, is actually yung end, no? So, iyan yung ating, it's actually a bitwise, no? So, ang tawag na dito is conditional end. Okay? Pag isang ampersand lang, it's called bitwise, no? It's, ang tawag dyan sa operator na yan, bitwise. Okay? Pero pag dalawang ampersand, that is called conditional end. So, anong ibig sabihin? So, pag inilagay mo yung dalawang ampersand na yan in between two variables, no, it will just check if x and y are both true, e-evaluates niya yung y. Okay? So, kasi, conditional end. Okay? So, aside from checking if x and y are both true, i-evaluate niya ulit yung y. No? Okay, this one, okay, so ang tawag naman dito ay yung ating or, no? So this is actually or. So either, kaya either, so ang ibig sabihin yan ay either x and y or yung OP1 or any variable, no, OP1 or OP2 is true, and conditionally y evaluates OP2 or any variable, no? Okay, so pag isa lang, it's actually bitwise n. Okay, so ibig sabihin, he will check both if x and y are both true. Always evaluate the x and y. Para bang ano yan? Halimbawa, meron kang katandem sa bank account mo. Okay? So for example, mag-asawa, no? Pag naka-end, no? Hindi pwedeng mag-withdraw ang asawa mo or ang misis mo or ang boyfriend mo kung hindi ka din pipirma dahil naka-end. Okay? So ampersand end. Okay? Pero kung ito, okay, so this is or, ibig sabihin, kahit nakapirma lang yung isa, pwede na. Okay, so yun po yung ibig sabihin niyan. Okay, so literally, yun yung ibig sabihin niyan. Okay? So ito po. So ito naman is actually assignment operators, no? So pag sinabing assignment operators, nag-a-assign, no, ng any value. Okay? So for example, this one, yung equal sign, so it will initialize a variable count to 0. So integer count is equal to 0. This one, x plus is equal to, ibig sabihin po nito, yung value ng x, no, na nasa variable na x, kukunin niya yung laman muna ng variable na x, ipa-plus niya pa ng 2. Okay po? Gets po ba? Okay. So, yun po siya. So, it used to assign a one value to another. So, there are still other assignment operators. No? Ito po siya. No? Plus equals, minus equals, asterisk equals, backslash equals, remainder equals, or modulo. So, yun po. So, next week, by next week po, expression na po tayo. No? Okay, so yun yung atin. So, let's have a quiz. Okay, so, this is an example, no? So, ano po ba yung magiging output nito? So, what will be the output of this code? Okay, so I have variable x and y ands. So, I let the user enter a number, inilagay sa variable na x. And then, yung aking value of x ay i-display. So, what will be the output? Siyempre, what will be the output? Siyempre po ay ang value ng yan ay, so for example, okay? So, for example, ang in-enter ko pala ay number 8. Okay? So, if I entered number 8, what will be the output nitong program po na to? Okay? So, sabi niya, the value of x is, so kung ang value ng x ay 8, so what will be the output? Okay, syempre, good morning po, Ma'am Pearly. Okay, so syempre, ang output natin ay 8. No? So, kasi nga, yun yung x is the entered number, so x is equal to 8. Okay, so next, let's determine the value of ands, the variable ands. Okay, so si ands, I have x and y, the variable, and then I have another variable ands. I enter a first number, inilagay sa x, enter another number, inilagay sa y, and then before mag-display, nagkaroon ng isang another variable which is ands, inad. Okay? Get the sum of x and y. So what will be the output? Okay? So what will be the value of ands? Okay? So ano yung value ng ands? So store the sum of x and y to variable sum. So, the answer is, kung ang first number mo ay 10 at ang second number mo 8, syempre, ang answer dyan will be 18. Okay? So, gets mo ba? Okay. So, ayun po. Mga ka-coder, ka-tech quiz. So, let's get ready. Imagine, start creating our own Java code. Remember, sabi nga po ni Chris Pine, programming isn't about what you know. It's about what you can figure out. Dahil po at operators yung topic natin yan. So, we have to figure out. No? So, it's for us to figure out. Ayan. So, references. Okay. So, every Friday po ang ating mentor, si Tutor Pau, si Tutor Drain, si Tutor Be, ako po, no? At saka si Tutor Lon. Lagi po tayong magkita-kita every Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Okay, so for any comments and suggestions, paki-scan lang po ang QR code na nakikita sa inyong screen. And thank you very much po. I'll see you again next Friday, mga ka-Tech Quiz, ka-Coder. Bye-bye po. Thank you.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!